we're back here for the final race of the GB4 Championship, and me and Lewis McGlade, we're going to talk about a guy called Sid Smith. Sid Smith just joined us right here as he gets ready to do this race, and we were going to talk about the fact that you're on the front row of the grid, second place you're starting.
First place now.
First place now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just after what happened in the last race, Carney actually got a penalty for the incident me and him had together.
Okay.
So I'm now starting pole.
Right, well, so that makes my point even stronger.
Yep.
Pole position, you've had a little bit of a tricky weekend.
Yeah,
you ended up without a back wing. We saw the tyre on the back of your car yesterday.
Yeah.
They had that incident in the second race. We think you can win this race. Can you win this race?
Of course. Well, after the first testing, like I say, we had such strong hopes for the top three on normal races. Quality didn't go away. I made a few mistakes on my part, and obviously with race 1 and 2 didn't go my way at all. But obviously starting from pole now, I believe, in race 3, pace is good, car's good. Fox done amazing work to get the car back to the top level, so all hopes there for the win. If not that, a podium's definitely on the cards, and I'm going to give it everything I have.
We've seen some great stuff from Fox Motorsports in their first season with GB4, and obviously your first season as well. We spoke with Paul McNeely earlier, and he was really pleased with how everything was going. How would you reflect on this first season of GB4 for you?
Well, it's been amazing, really. It was always going to be like a kind of a tough start. We got some good data off VAR and stuff with the cars and stuff, but that helped us to kind of get going. But just at this stage of the season, we got some top engineers in their team, and the mechanics on top as well. So they've really made the best effort to get us to, well, we're at the level of some, if not better than some of the other guys now, and hopefully just keep the momentum forward, not only this year, but the team just for years to come, that they have this knowledge and they compete at the best and be the best. So I think they've done amazing, really.
Yeah, they really have. It's been great having you.
Yeah.
When are you going to get back in a car after this race is finished? Are there plans to see what you're going to do next?
I'm honestly not sure. There's so many things on the cars right now, whether it be a single seater or not a single seater.
Yeah.
We're really not sure. Obviously, there's a lot of money involved in things and a lot of sponsorships and everything. So really, we just kind of see what happens over the winter and stuff. But I'm hoping whether it is to kind of always make that step up if we can, or even it's come back to here and make it just that stronger step. But you never know what's going to happen, really.
Well, look, it's been great having you, and hopefully you can stay in the same position that you start the race in, and we'll chat to you afterwards as well.
Thank you very much.
All right, Sid Smith from Fox Motorsports there. Nice to have a little impromptu chat there, Lewis. We were going to talk about who could possibly win this race, but first of all, as we've just chatted to Sid about his race and how it didn't go quite how he wanted to in race 2, let's just see the highlights.
Highlights from the penultimate round of the GB4 Championship. A great start from Cooper Webster's race, and once again for the second consecutive race, a great start for Lucas Blakely. Poor one for Liam McNeely would drop him back into the mid-pack. Lucas Blakely straight around into third position as he's trying to attack the back of Colin Queen, but it was Cooper Webster clearing off into the distance, running away from the rest of the pack. Colin Queen was feeling the pressure. Meanwhile, there was a bit of contact behind. Digital Carney into the rear end of Sid Smith, who would go straight on into the gravel trap. He struggled to get his way out of the exit of it, and unfortunately would come to a stop. They would bring out a safety car, but not before there was more drama. Jack Clifford was sent off courtesy of Zach Ping, going up towards McLean, and Clifford would end the race in the gravel trap as well. The safety car would have to be called, but there was still more going on. Ping almost into the side of Sebastian Murray, and then also some more drama behind. Kulkarni losing his front wing courtesy of Theo Mercouris. The safety car would eventually come out. Once it went back in, though, it was a tight fight for the lead. Cooper Webster leading, but of course under a lot of pressure from Colin Queen. Plenty of looks in the background. This one for third position as Liam McNeely would charge his way down the inside on Lucas Blakely, who would then lose out a little bit to Finn Harrison as well. More drama. Thomas Lee into the gravel trap as well after a bit of an incident with Lexi Belk. Again, the safety car will come out. Once again, we got the race restarted. Cooper Webster with the control, and a perfectly executed restart would see him holding onto a comfortable lead. Lucas Blakely was feeling the pressure though, as a look down the inside from Zach Ping almost saw contact in the fight for 5th position. But later on in the race, unfortunately, Ping would have this moment that would bring out a red flag. Thankfully, he was absolutely fine once he got out of the car. The red flag was raised, which meant the race was ended, and of course it would be victory for Cooper Webster for the second time this weekend. Colin Queen and Liam McNeely join him on the podium.
Well, yeah, another win for Cooper Webster there, his 4th win of the season. Great to see him get a double victory so far here at Donington Park. And the reason that Cooper Webster hasn't won more races is just because of how dominant Tom Mills has been all year, with 10 races himself. Those two absolutely hogging it. Only 21 races, and I think 2 of them were. Is it 2 that didn't take place because of the rain at Silverstone?
We had one rescheduled, which of course we
had
did
a 4-race weekend, didn't
exactly,
we?
when we came back to Donington last time.
There we go. So 20 races, and between them, those two, they've won 14 of them. So yeah, absolutely dominating. We saw Tom getting his trophy earlier on and his check, and we heard from JP, Jonathan Palmer, just about how impressive KMR Sport have been. And I think we should probably just see the moment actually that he just got out of the car after he won the championship last time out at Brands Hatch. What does this mean to you as a driver? I mean, just remind everyone what your experience is so far. I mean, you've been very successful already, but this is surely the highlight.
Yeah, this is definitely the highlight, and this is my 3rd year of cars. I won the Rookie Championship in Formula Ford in 2021. Did GB4 last year, and the experience I gained from that has been really, really useful. The championship's just fantastic, and it's brought me on so much as a driver, and I think it shows if you learn so much in your first year, it does work if you come back. And the GB4 Championship has completely changed my driving.
It's going to be really, really positive for some of those other drivers who have maybe not got the results they wanted to get, to watch what you've done. And obviously last year was the first year with Nick Taylor winning, so it's hard to discuss that. But I mean, obviously, I know your dad doesn't like to talk about the fact that you're his son racing for him, but I mean, he's going to be really, really proud, and you must have a great bond.
Yeah, it's great in the team. We're basically all the family. I know all the mechanics. They're like with me all the time at the workshop and stuff. So it's a good working place to be, and that also means I perform better because we're comfortable in the team. And even like with Jack, we all get along so well. We work so well together. He's learned so much from me as well. And the same as last year with me and Jared, I learned so much from him, and it just shows the progress you make year on year.
We've discussed funding before. Obviously, we didn't know you were going to do the whole season, and we're really glad you did. Do you know what you want to do? I mean, I'm sure you know what you want to do next, but do you know what's likely to do next for you?
I really don't know. Obviously, GB3 is what you're supposed to move into after GB4, but the budget is quite big for that. And the next step up past that is also quite hard to achieve. So we'll see. I've just got to keep doing what I've been doing on track. It's the best way to get sponsors to come on side, and it's worked this year, and I can only hope for next season they come back again.
For those people watching now who are potential sponsors, I don't think that you can do anything more to show that you are an excellent candidate to get sponsorship, winning as many races as you won this year. And actually, looking at the stats, you're on 500 odd points. The next driver starts with a 3. You're so far ahead. You've absolutely dominated this year. Could you have ever dreamed of being this dominant in GB4? I mean, obviously you come into it with a great experience, but surely you never think you're going to win. I don't want to use the word easily, but make it look so easy.
Yeah. I did not expect to be this dominant, really. At the beginning of the year, we didn't have this much of an advantage. At Alton, I got beaten by Jeremy, who drove fantastic that weekend, and I didn't expect to be able to go meeting on meeting, especially as their experience was getting better and better. They were going to be catching me, and it's just been great to be able to do the same each meeting. And it's just been able to keep doing the same each meeting. It's quite hard to be that consistent.
Yeah. Well, look, Kevin, I know that you don't like to advertise that you're looking after your son and running his car here, but he's done an amazing thing just now. He's absolutely dominated this season. He's just said some very kind words about you and the family and how well you look after him. You must be a very proud dad.
Yeah, I'm really proud. I think when he started in Formula Fords, not last year, the year before, and he showed that he had a lot of speed, I knew it was going to be a problem because it was going to cost us a lot of money. But he's made me really proud. This year he's really dominated it, and even in that drive there, he's so sensible now with his head. He thinks about every moment, every position he needs, and what he doesn't need to do. Doesn't take unnecessary risks, and you can see that 10 race wins and good reverse grid results, without having any, crashes with people that you don't need to. So, yeah, that's a mature drive all year.
I'm sure already you've had lots of messages this weekend from friends and family. Have you managed to catch up with them all yet? Because everyone we see on the live stream and on the comments on Facebook, everyone's very proud.
Yeah, no, not everybody. I mean, the most important people are the sponsors that.
It's a very emotional moment. Look, it's been fantastic watching you grow as a driver over the last year. Last year maybe didn't work out how you wanted. This year, absolutely dominant. I mean, for me, the fact that we didn't know if you were going to continue racing was such a problem at Alton Park. I was like, come on, we got to see Tom Mills racing. You know, the team's gone through some changes. You've absolutely killed it this year. And at Donington Park, you know, you're still going for the team's championship, still a lot to play for. I mean, all I can say is congratulations from everyone here. I'm sure everyone watching back home is incredibly proud of you as well. And I hope you're going to celebrate with, I mean, I think there was a Nando's on the table or something maybe?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Yeah, all right. You got to go like the full platter. You can't just go with a single meal, yeah?
Yeah, I'll have everything.
All right, from KMR Sport, Tom Mills, your GB4 2023 champion. Yeah, an absolutely huge moment there for a young driver, and so special for Tom to have done it in a family team that his dad runs, his sister's involved in as well, and just, you know, huge for them to win the team's championship too. Yeah,
I mean, look, they've had an incredible performance this year. They've shown themselves as, you know, the team to beat. We kind of saw it last year, of course, because they did win the team's championship as it was Kevin Mills Racing, then now being KMR Sport. I was saying this on the broadcast. They're showing themselves as, like, if you're a young driver coming into GB4, you know, if you're looking to come in and, you know, you don't have the funds to make your own team, which let's be honest, not too many people do. It seems like KMR Sport is like the team to be in, you know, to have two teams championships, have a drivers championship now. You know, Wilburski obviously finished runner-up last season for the squad. They've had great drivers in there. Obviously, you know, Lucas Blakely's shown some great form recently. Fairbairn with his great start to the year, winning that first race. There's a lot of positives to speak about from the KMR Sport squad, and, you know, it seems like every kind of round we go racing, we're seeing them, you know, towards the front almost. It seems like no matter who it is with.
Yeah, and we obviously have a mix here. We have established teams, we have teams that are going into single-seaters like Fox Motorsports for the very first time, and obviously Kevin Mills Racing was predominantly Formula 4 before GB4 came along. Then we have the privateers. We have Thomas Lee, who comes over from, you know, the Taiwan and comes and races, and, you know, we've got a really nice mix. And speaking of privateers, obviously Dylan Hodgkin is there, and he's been here this season, and they're sort of running their process where they are training young mechanics up and working with a local college to get them all up to speed. And then we have Lexi Belk, who's racing for the first time this weekend under her own team, Belk Racing, and another family team. And we chatted to them a little bit earlier. We might try and find Lexi's mum, who didn't want to be on camera earlier, but apparently we can maybe find her in the assembly area. No promises though. So it's great to just see a mix, isn't it? And I imagine there's, you know, other teams, and we know there's already another team looking to come in next year and race in GB4, and it's a very attractive proposition.
Yeah, it's kind of something that we've seen grow and build a little bit. Obviously, you know, we've been here since the very start of the GB4 Championship when we started in Snetterton last year, when it was freezing cold. It's definitely colder than what it was this weekend.
We've gone full circle. It's still freezing cold.
It's still freezing cold. Welcome to Great Britain. But no, I mean, like GB4, it's showing like it is a great place to start. You know, if you're not quite ready to go like from karting into GB3, which is an enormous step, an unrealistic step for most people to be able to do, and then just get up to speed quickly, especially with the strength of field in that. To be able to have like a stepping stone which is like accessible, it's, you know, it's affordable for the most part when it comes to, you know, comparisons to other motorsport positions, and it's why we see such a diverse grid. Yes, it's not as big as we'd want, and, you know, I get the feeling it will grow over time. You know, it's been consistently bigger than it was last year. We're seeing the series grow, we're seeing it build, and it feels like, you know, in a few years' time, this is absolutely going to be the #1 place to get your open-wheeled, you know, slicks and wings career started. I mean, Jonathan Palmer said about like it's kind of replacing Formula 4 as the place to go. Yeah,
and also when you have a team like Fortec, who are just behind us here, you can progress through GB4 into GB3, and that takes you on the journey. And obviously we've heard in GB3, you know, what high-tech Pulsate and Rodin Carlin can do and take you up the ranks there as well. So, you know, it really has been a great couple of years so far, and obviously GB4 continues next year with at least one new team on the grid. But for the last time this weekend, let's take a look at the track. And actually, on that, another thing that's happened this year is Lucas Blakely has turned his dream of being a racing driver in reality to actually becoming a racing driver and getting himself his first ever podium here at Donington Park. So that's another thing we've ticked off the list with GB4. Let's take a look at the track for one last time here at Donington.
Well, to Leicestershire and just about at the Derbyshire border as we head to the 2.5-mile circuit of Donington Park. It was opened back in 1931 and is one of the oldest circuits in Europe. It is the oldest circuit in the United Kingdom still in use. An absolutely fantastic venue, full of history and full of challenging corners. Big overtaking opportunities in the likes of Redgate, McLean's, Coppice, the Fogg ES, Goddard's, etc. And of course, for the brave, down into the old hairpin. The Wheatcroft Straight is the start-finish straight up towards Redgate and then down this enormous hill, 2.5 miles in length, but so much elevation. You get a real good look of it here as we come down the hill, through the Craners, through the old hairpin, and then we begin that climb all the way up through Starkey's Bridge, Swans Curve, up towards McLean's. It is a fantastic circuit for racing, and certainly one that will challenge all of our drivers this weekend.
Well, I've caught up in the paddock with an old friend, John Cavell, who we saw earlier on presenting Tom Mills with his George Russell Pole Position Cup. And we, of course, have Callum Voisin, who has won back-to-back Jack Cavell Pole Position Cups in honour of your father.
Yes, Callum's the first driver to win a back-to-back. It's always been different drivers, George Russell, people like this, but this year, so it's another historic moment, really.
Yeah, another huge honour for him, and obviously, you know, being so dominant and it pleasing us with some excellent driving this year, and actually seeing that Callum's gone on and done FIA F3 testing, and that's where he's looking to go next year. That's fantastic as well, and you know, he's obviously at the top. That's why he keeps winning the award. You've got a friend with you here, John, and we need to introduce you. I'll let you do the full introduction.
Okay, so Jill Biffer, and she'll explain to you the David Paul Warren Pole Position Cup is for the teams, and so I'll let Jill explain exactly how the connection with David.
Okay, Jill, and obviously you met a few years ago now, and
we met when we were teenagers. John and I and my brother, and John and David, my brother, used to go racing together. David was a great supporter of John racing, and they kept in touch ever since then. They used to go up to London in their bubble cars. And unfortunately, my brother died 5 or 6 years ago, and John has done this pole position cup in memory of my brother.
I think we have to, you know, give a huge thanks to John, because he does some excellent work, and he's always there, and you know, you're always behind the scenes, and we see you in the pictures and everything like that, and it's always great to catch up with you. And you know, you just racing is just something that you can't get away from. It's your love, isn't it?
It's my love. Yeah, I've never sort of earned any money out of racing or been involved. We ran Formula 3 cars, Formula 5000s, and things like that. And then I got to know Jonathan Palmer through Formula 3 and helped him a bit, and it's sort of gone on from then. So so when he said he was starting this championship, I knew it'd be run properly, and I asked if I could do the Pole Position Cup, and we sorted out a formula for it, and it's been great. Yeah.
You also supplied a rather large cake for everyone, which I know is very popular. Finally, Jill, but before we move on, Jill, I've got to ask you, if you've known each other since you were teenagers, have you got any gossip from when you were younger about him?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Oh, you've got a good friend there. Not going to sell you down the river at all. Thank you, Jill. Thank you very much, John. Let's take a look at the track we're racing at for one final time here in the GB4 Championship.
Let's ride around the Donington Park Grand Prix circuit on board the Fortec car of Colin Queen. A downhill run to turn 1 of Redgate. Using all of the road on the left hand side, you'll see he uses the pit exit to open up the entry. Down to 4th gear, quite a fast apex here, and watch out for track limits on the exit, as we now have a long run down to the old hairpin, through Hollywood on the right, just staying right, trying to minimise any steering input, left to the Craner curves, keep it left, to open up the entry into the old hairpin very fast, down just 1 gear, all the curve on the entry, all the curve on the exit. We now rise up through Starkeys, over to the right hand side, just setting ourselves up through Swans for a good entry into McLean's. McLean's is off camber and on the crest of a hill, so it can often push you wide, as we've seen Colin's done that time. Then using all the curve on the left hand side to open up Coppice Corner. This is a long exit here, so trying not to run too wide. And now we have the long run down past the exhibition centre. All we have to think about now is the braking point for Fogarty, which is a very, very fast and bumpy chicane. Braking down 2 gears, 4th gear, 1 apex, 2 apexes, 140 kilometres an hour through there, and then just 2 more sharp corners to go. The first is the Melbourne hairpin. Braking downhill very late, down to 2nd gear, late apex, for a good run out of the corner, trying to minimise wheel spin. Car looks planted through there, Fortec doing a good job on the setup. And the final corner, Goddard's again off camber, blind on entry, trying to hook the curb on the inside if you can, slightly missing it this time out, and then a good exit out of the last corner to finish our lap of the Donington Park Grand Prix circuit.
Well, Max Maserati, for one final time, we're here in the GB4 assembly area. I have to say, it's getting a little bit dark now. The clouds are coming in. You're still rocking the shades. Is there ever a moment you don't take those shades off?
I thought about taking them off.
Do you have eyes?
And then I was like, last race of the year, they're staying on just for the commitment.
You're keeping that aesthetic.
The wet at Alton, we're doing it now at the end of the year.
All right, look, well, this is the 21st race. We haven't actually had 21 races because one of them was cancelled. So the 20th race technically, but it's race 21 of the season. You're a little bit nervous, Max. Tell us why you're a bit nervous.
Well, my money's on Harry for this race. I think he's got the pace. He's been really strong all weekend, and I really feel this is his big moment to really show what we can do. You know, he's been really quick all year. He's learned so much. You know, coming into this, he'd never done car racing before. We didn't do like really any pre-season testing, so he's had to learn through the race weekends, and he's come on so strongly throughout the year, which I think shown in the fact that he's now sitting 5th in the championship. Kulkarni's still close, so that fight is still up, but I think he could, you know, at least get his first podium this race, if not win it.
He is a great young prospect. Let's come over and see Harry then. This is Harry Burgoyne Jr. with Graham Brenton Racing, and Max, you're, you know, his driver coach, and you've been with him all season and with the team. And what kind of things then have you been telling young Harry as he prepares for this race? You know, the one final hurrah for this season, where you know you're right. You know, starting P3, he's got a great chance.
Yeah, well, mainly it's all about tyre warm up. So crucial. The air temperature's come down again. The clouds are now over the track, so you haven't got the sun on it, beating it. So it's going to be very cold, like it was earlier today. Obviously, more overtaking opportunity without those wet patches. So getting heat in the tyre, especially the new tyre, that's all going to be crucial.
Yeah, we can see the left-hand side tyres there. We've got brand new tyres. You can tell by the labels. Always very nice that they have the labels on there. So from a distance, you can see they've got new tyres on there. So new tyres on the left. And you've said before, you know, the left side of this track is the more hard-wearing for tyres. So good to see he's got those tyres on there. You see just to the left of Harry, we can see Jack Clifford, our Australian driver here, sat there. And actually, Jared Waberski's sister is there, Lara. The family are over to support Jared in GB3, and there, you know, Jared's dad's been around as well, and actually Jared is just the left of our cameraman there, just watching on. And it's great to see that, you know, this partnership between the Waberskis and KMR Sport is, and everyone involved. So he's come down to support Jack, and he was actually there when Tom Mills won his championship back at Brands Hatch and supporting his former teammates. So great to see that, you know, great relationships have been built. Have you built many friendships out on the track? Because you strike me as a kind of lone wolf.
Ouch.
I'm not saying you look out for yourself and you're selfish. I'm just saying when you're a racing driver, you can never truly be friends with another driver.
No,
right?
I mean, when you're racing, you're racing. When you're in a championship fight, you're in a championship fight. But even so, you know, a lot of respect gets built. I think me and Nick showed that last year. You know, there was a lot of respect there. We show that now in how we joke around with each other. Even though our rivalry continues in the form of our coaching, you know, of our drivers. But although you're not sharing secrets, you can still be, I say, the respect is there of what we're doing and what we're competing.
We thought we might see like some kind of sim racing contest, but no, you completely curveballed us and went with driver coaching, which we still like. Let's move forward then and look at Sid Smith. Now, we heard from Sid Smith earlier. He actually gate crashed our intro about 20 minutes or so ago. Sid's had a little bit of a tricky weekend, Max. You know, we saw the damage that happened to his car in the first race. He lost this back end here, and obviously when you haven't got the downforce at the back there, it's pretty impossible to drive these cars. They rely on it so heavily. We also saw that, you know, he got some really bad tyre damage, which caused him all kinds of problems on his back right. But his car is back there, and you know, the second race wasn't ideal for him as well. A bit of an incident there. Great position for Sid Smith, and he's a driver that we were just discussing earlier after he jumped in, has really matured. And you know, these drivers are coming in at a younger age. You were slightly older, Max, and I imagine you would watch these drivers, like with Harry, you know, grow up and really become young adults.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, to be fair, Harry came from high-level karting, so he's already done a lot. You know, you do growing up in that. You know, you're mixed. You know, from a young age, you're with a lot of older mechanics and team folks. So he was already on that mature side of it. But you are right. You have seen him even so grow as they get older. I mean, Sid has had a tough weekend. You know, which actually started so strong in the first practice session. I think it was in like the top 2 behind McNeely. You know, it looked really, really good, and it's fallen away. Obviously, really unlucky with race 2 and with race 1 when he lost his rear wing. So he'll be hoping that he could end the season on a high, you know, and make up for what's happened. You know, all the mechanics to be fixing the car from damage that has happened to him, not of his own fault.
He's put them to work this weekend, let's say. He was very complimentary of the team earlier on. Obviously, Fox coming in as a new team into the championship last year was, completely new to everyone involved in GB4, whether they were new teams or existing teams working with GB4 machinery. And I think, to come in now while you've got teams like KMR Sport who had a jump of a season of testing and getting used to these cars is really admirable for what Fox Motorsport have done. So shout out to them, Paul McNeely and everyone there. Also, we got the privateers that we've shouted out before, Dylan Hotchin, who we heard from a little bit earlier on. It's amazing to see what they're doing with their sort of different way of doing things. When it comes to the drivers we're looking at here, we've got Liam McNeely, number 48 here. He's shown that he's been really, really strong in these reverse grid races. Certainly knows how to make a few overtakes or so. Can someone win from as far back as, I think he's 10th, isn't he, or 9th or 10th on the grid here?
I mean, it's definitely a chance, but if anyone's going to do it, I think it'll be Queen, who's actually got the new tyres on for this race. Nobody else on this part of the field really does, apart from our driver Murray. Queen's had an amazing pace all year, so if he can get a good start with these new tyres, I'd say he'd be the favourite out of the middle ground bunch starting in the race to come through.
Yeah, well, Colin Quinn's car, we've just seen number 62, the red and white Vortec car. It's been a good season for Colin. He's had some very strong results and some things go against him, so it'll be good to see what he can do. He's testing a GB3 car, he told us earlier on, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do next weekend at Snetterton. Just to the right of Colin Queen there, starting, I believe it's 7th, it's Theo Makuris, one of our newer drivers this weekend. We have 4 new drivers on the grid, and certainly knows what he's doing until coming up to this stage, and a big jump for him to jump into this type of car.
Yeah, it really is, and I think he's done very well this weekend, and I think they're all getting the engine started, so everyone's getting ready to go. But yeah, he's done really, really well for his debut weekend. It is very different, a radical to this kind of car, so very impressive from young Theo.
Yeah, it's been really good. There's a little bit of rain in the air, Max. Would you be a little bit worried now, because there are dark clouds coming over? It's only light spitting, and the track is presumably relatively warm because we've had a lot of racing on it today.
Well, I mean, it's an open pit lane race.
So relative to the month we're in, yeah.
If it was starting to downpour on the outlap, these guys can come in and change for wets.
Yeah.
Whether they do that or not, because they think it might dry up, that's all part of the gamble. These races are too short to come in mid-race for a pit stop.
Hey, look, Max, I'm going to let you run off, but from me, thank you very much for everything you've done for us this season. Max Maserati is going to make one final run to our commentary box. He's going to join Lewis McGlade as we go racing for the final time this year in the GB4 Championship here at Donington Park.
All good things must come to an end, and with that, of course, the GB4 Championship. We've already finished with the GB3 Championship, and is now ready to end our year. And what a year it's been! So many highlights, so many positives, not just in the GB3 Championship, but in the GB4 Championship. Worthy champions in both, of course, Callum Foysen in GB3, just crowned moments ago, and then, of course, Tom Mills. Plenty of time ago. I was going to say it was a few weeks back. It certainly was a long time behind. Joining in on the grid there, I think that's Zach Ping. And I'm just going to say, I cannot believe that Zach Ping is in this race. They have done an unbelievable job, the VRD team, to piece that car back together again. Of course, that was a retirement for the last race after that incident going through McLean's. I thought we would not see that car returning to the racetrack, returning to the season. I thought his season was done. How wrong was I? I am I'm still in shock. But either way, we'll begin the final formation up, getting ready for the the 18-minute race, the last one of the season. As you can see them rolling off there, and Sid Smith in control, looking strong. Could he potentially be taking this victory? I think there is some certain potential for it. Obviously there's drivers up there like Harry Burgoyne Jr. Looking to try and grab their first podium in GB4. Sid Smith also in that category. As we'll take a look at the starting grid, Sid Smith then starts alongside Jack Clifford at the front of the field on that front row, looking to join the 6 race winners we've had this season. Harry Burgoyne Jr. will start from 3rd position with Finn Harrison. Again, debut weekend starting from 4th, but he has shown some great speed, genuinely could take victory here. We'll have to wait and see what the Elite Motorsports driver can do. Behind that on row 3 sees Lucas Blakely and Aditya Kulkarni. Of course, Kulkarni in that fight with Harry Burgoyne Jr. in the battle for 5th position in the championship. Zach Ping out on the grid against all odds. Unbelievable job from the mechanics, with Theo Mercouris starting this one from 8th position again for Elite Motorsports. Colin Queen, Liam McNeely, those two battled out time and time again throughout the season. They're secured in their championship positions, 4th and 3rd respectively. 2nd for Cooper Webster in the championship. He'll be starting this race from 11th. Before we get to the drivers that weren't reversed, courtesy of the reverse grid, so Sebastian Murray will start from 12th position where he qualified, as will be the next few drivers. Dylan Hotchin, Dan Hickey, and then of course the final row, as we've seen before, Lexley Belk and of course Thomas Lee down the back end of the field. Those 5 drivers at the rear, the reason why they weren't reversed is because they were outside of the 103% rule, which you need to qualify within if you're going to be eligible for the reverse grid. So a lot of contenders that can take victory in this one. I said before, there are 6 race winners in the season that we've had thus far. Of course, there's Tom Mills, Cooper Webster, Liam McNeely. We had Jeremy Fairbairn in the first weekend of the season. We've had Harry Reynolds, and we've had Kai Darianani. Max Maserati, you join me in the commentary booth. Are we going to have a 7th?
I hope so. I really hope so. I wonder who. This is probably the most nervous I've ever been before a race start. You know.
Really?
Oh yeah. It's because the thing is, once you're actually going, when you're driving yourself, right? No matter what position you're in or in the title fight, whatever's happening, as soon as the visor goes down, the engine gone, and you're rolling out onto the grid, all the nerves just subside, and you just fully focus on what you're doing. When you're like a coach or you're a team member and you're watching on the pit wall, you don't have that same it's the feeling of nervousness disappearing. It's still there. So this is definitely, and it's out of your hands as well. You can't do anything now. This is all up to them, and you've just got to trust them and hope that they do the best thing they can.
Well, Max, we don't have many seats in the commentary box. In fact, there is just one for some reason. But I will let you take a seat. If he cannot even sit down. Eyes on the race. Of course, the last one of 2023, round 21 in the GB4 Championship, partnered by the BRDC. Sid Smith on pole position, and we'll see who is going to win. Clifford alongside. You've got Harry Burgoyne Jr. in there as well. The red lights are on for the last time, and they're off for the last time. 18 minutes onto the clock, and we are underway. Zach Ping's had a bit of a stall in the middle of the pack. Lucas Blakely once again with an unbelievable start. Is going to get down the inside in the race down towards the first corner. Jack Clifford's going to hold firm for 2nd position, but you've got Harry Burgoyne Jr. to the inside. Kulkarni's trying something, but a great race start for Sid Smith, our race leader.
Look like they all had actually pretty even starts on the start. Oh, there's been a staller there. He's got going now. This isn't race over. There could be a safety car going to the front of the queue, and it's Kulkarni's trying to put pressure on Harry, but he's holding it, and he's now attacking Clifford. It's where do you look? Yeah. Oh, it's getting really close. Where do you put your front wing? You can't really see it, so you've got to judge it as close as you can.
Look at Lucas Blakely then straight around the outside of Aditya Kulkarni. That's a big send. Kulkarni's going to push him off the road, but once they rejoin and head up towards Coppice, it'll be Lucas Blakely potentially taking 4th position, but he has to back out of it. It's going to try the up and under as we head on to the Starkey Straight. Good lead then being taken from Sid Smith. You've got Clifford behind, who's feeling the pressure from Burgoyne Jr. You've got Kulkarni, who's feeling the pressure from literally everyone else. And I think that's Theo Mercouris who's looking down the inside as we see them come through the chicane.
Here they all come flooding through. Oh, big slide. Well held by Blakely. That was really great. And look how they've all just packed up into this bunch now as they've lost momentum.
It was actually Finn Harrison who's dropped backwards.
That's from really far back. Harry saw him coming.
Yeah,
there goes McNeely.
McNeely's gone out wide, so... and he's been hit as well as he was trying to rejoin, and that will be McNeely not getting that record-breaking 8th consecutive podium. He'll be stationary there, and I wonder if that will require a safety car. Take us a look through the replay.
It was a big lock-up that started it. he went wide, and I think he just tried to rejoin, but there was like, it was basically 3 into 1 at that point anyway, and that's what then caused the contact there.
Yeah, I think that one might have been, obviously Mercurius was involved in that one, and I think
He's
there was a bit of pinching. Yes, he has indeed got. To be fair, again, it shows how strong this car is, because I was absolutely sure that would have ripped the rear right off the car, but no, these cars are pretty strong, and it's showing it there. McNeely's still in the race. Maybe if there is a safety car, he could actually get after that 8th consecutive podium.
Here we are at the front again then, and Kulkarni, there seems to be a bit of a train forming here. Harry just needs to not look in his mirrors and just focus on what's ahead.
Certainly so.
All the entry curve now. There's Murray on the attack as well.
Certainly so. We'll have to wait and see where that move's going to come from, and whether there is going to be a bit of movement down the order. Of course, there is Cooper Webster down the inside as he's working his way through. That was Lucas Blakely. So Cooper Webster's looking to try and take the 3P here, try and take all 3 race victories in a weekend. Not too many people have done that one. Of course, Todd Mills certainly has. We did see it from Nicholas Taylor last season at Silverstone, and this will be a big one around the outside. Lucas Blakely's trying to get that one done on Cooper Webster, not able to do so.
Yeah, he didn't make it easy there. Will Blakely trying something on the inside? No, Jess can't. Here comes Queen round the outside. Is he going to be left the room? Jess, that was very, very fair from Blakely there. He left him more than enough space on the exit.
Yeah, of course, as we'll see once again, that's Queen taking a bit of a defensive line. Lucas Blakely then dropping down the order. Queen's the one who set the fastest lap of the race as he's charging his way back up the order. Queen still yet to take a victory in the year, and I'm not sure it's going to come in this one, but hey, you never know. Again, if maybe we do require a safety car at some point, maybe this will close things up. And again, it shows the strength and rigidity.
Oh.
Speaking of safety car, we might get one here. Lexi Belk has come awry, and that car, I don't think it's moving. I think we might need a safety car.
I think we will. It looks stuck to me. That definitely looks stuck to me. So we'll see what happens now. I mean, they're going to have to call it relatively quick because they will get around there pretty fast.
Yeah, exactly. We'll keep our eye on our live timing. Again, if this does bring the likes of McNeely back into it, again, it shows the strength and safety and rigidity of these cars. The fact that he's able to continue in this race and potentially go after some big results in this one. Still no call from race control about a safety car as they head their way through the chicane. So maybe, just maybe, she might have got it out of the gravel trap as the marshals are helping. This is down at turn 1 at Redgate, of course. We'll take a look at this one on the replay.
So she comes in, she just loses the rear. Jess rolls it back. I think she didn't want to end up flat spotting the tyres, which is why she didn't get on the brake. Well, she's got going again, but she's going to have to be careful because she's going to come out in front of all the traffic. Here they come down the start-finish straight.
Yeah, certainly. So obviously there will still be a little bit under double waved yellows, I think, down to the first corner whilst the marshals return to their post. But give a big hat off to our marshals there. I think McNeely will probably be like, oh God, you couldn't have more safety car like that. But no, obviously for us, we keep this race green, and we're trying to get all of the final 13 minutes of the championship done without bringing out a safety car. So superb performance. Clifford then in that second position, dropping back to a second behind Kulkarni, and then Webster in 4th position, who is flying right now. Fastest lap set on the previous one, which was half a second faster than our race leader.
Yeah, he's really got the hammer down. Bearing in mind he's on old tyres as well, so maybe that's helping at this point in the race, this early point. Very good of Lexi there to make sure she's getting completely out of the way of everyone. Doing the best she could there. She couldn't do any better there.
The only thing you could do is stop, and the marshals and, let's be honest, everyone will be like, well, don't stop on the racetrack.
Yeah, exactly. So she did the best thing. You know, she saw them coming, got out of the way, and now she can actually get on the back of this pack and do some learning from that, seeing what these guys are doing, what lines they're taking.
She did the most important thing there, for at least for me, and what I know, is remaining predictable, as Cooper Webster's not doing that at all, because he sent one straight down the inside of Kulkarni. That was a brilliant move from Webster. Obviously, Queen's got to deal with the charge with, of course, Harry Burgoyne Jr., who's there, and of course Harry is not really caring about what Colin Queen's doing, what Lucas Blakely or Cooper Webster. He cares about one driver on this grid, and that is Aditya Kulkarni.
Exactly. There's only one car between them, so they're all trying to do the best thing they still can for the championship. You know, make sure they finish as high up as possible with as many points as possible, and finish the championship having the best result they can. You know, Webster is closing down more and more onto that lead, onto that front two. But look at the train behind him. You know, basically the whole rest of the grid is there.
Yeah, exactly, and it's super tight in all of that. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot more to deal with in this one. I'm just going to do my points, and I'm sorry, you can look away if you really want to. At the moment, Harry Burgoyne Jr. will be 4 points behind Adichie Kulkarni in that fight for 5th position in the championship as things stand. I'll keep you updated on it as we roll through the race, mostly because I know you'll most certainly want to know. Can we also give an unbelievable round of applause? And I know I've said it a few times, but the VRD Racing Camp, to say that 97 is out on the racetrack is an unreal performance and shows the dedication of these teams around these cars.
It really does. I mean, they mustn't have stopped from when the crash happened and getting it back to getting out onto this racetrack. That's a non-stop. That's basically a rebuilt car.
Yeah. And you know these cars, whilst there's a lot of spare parts, whilst they're built to
Come on!
into the back of Hotchin, and that will be Hotchin straight down. You can see he is fuming. Wheel thrown straight out of the car. Hotchin's been learning a lot this weekend, and he is fuming, absolutely rear-ended there from Ping, and I can understand why he's fuming. Talk us through this one.
Just misjudged, completely misjudged. I mean. You had the incidents in the first races. You know, you got to calm it down. That move wasn't necessary. You know, you had the pace over him. You could have just gone down the inside rather than trying to do the dummy and causing that contact. But I mean, yeah, it's so very upsetting for Hotchin there. Very upsetting for Hotchin.
At least we did get a great look at the steering wheel that Hotchin's got. I genuinely love it. And I've
That's
got to say,
Kulkarni and Harry. They're right together now.
Yeah, certainly so. I'll redo the points in just a moment. But I was going to say I really do love the Dylan Hotchin racing team, so hopefully we can see them moving their way back into GB4 next time. But yes, you're absolutely right. Queen has worked his way past on Kulkarni. Kulkarni then down into 5th position. Harry Burgoyne Jr. involved in that fight. And there is a look at Dylan Hotchin out of the car, out of the race. Big slides coming in from Colin Queen. But here comes the fight then for the 6th position on the road, or 5th position rather on the road, and 5th position in the championship as well.
This is really, really tight now. I mean, it is just something between these two of the 2 championships that can make a difference. With 1 place between, I'm not sure what the points difference would be.
Just running the numbers now, and again trying to not be a total idiot about it. That's the only problem, as we'll see this race continuing.
Here we go. They're going side by side into turn 1. They're level on points currently and level on the track. This is really great. What's Harry going to do? I think he's going to go for the cutback here. Really hard to get a cutback out of turn 1, but he's right on the back of him. He's got to pick which way. Kulkarni is very well defending, just trying to sit in the middle of the road, not really giving Harry the right way, but Harry's looking for the inside, but look, he's having to half defend at the same time from Blakely, who's directly behind.
Yeah, absolutely right there. They are level on point at the moment. I don't even know where it's going to go on countback. We'll deal with that one in a moment, and hopefully it's not even going to come down to it. Unfortunately for the race lead, though, Cooper Webster, fastest lap. Hello, Sid Smith. I'm here to take over the weekend. Donington belongs to me. My name's Cooper Webster, and I am going for it. Sid Smith looking for his first victory in the championship, but I think he might come up a position or 2 short, because Cooper Webster's going for it as they come down towards the Fogarty S. Cooper Webster looks to the outside. Sid Smith takes the defensive line. They head their way through the up and under on the exit. Could see the 37 getting back down the inside as they head down towards the Melbourne hairpin. At the moment, the 99 is holding firm. He is holding onto the race lead as they work their way down to the section, which might have double waved yellows on it right now, so there's no potential opportunity to overtake there. They go back to green up towards the final corner.
Yeah, and here they are, and now he goes defensive. Maybe a bit early. He's going to have to defend again into turn 1. These battles are so good, and they've split into 2 little groups now because Kulkarni's obviously defending, and this yellow flag.
Safety car's just been deployed.
That's such a late safety car.
Whoa, that's very late.
Really late. That's really late.
That has come out of nowhere and surprised the pair of us. So Smith will hold on to the race lead whilst they try and recover Dylan Hotchin's car, which had already obviously gone past under racing conditions. Cooper Webster in 2nd position, Clifford, Queen, Kulkarni, and Burgoyne Jr. Again, those 2 will be level on points at the moment. And again, we'll talk a little bit more about the countback, but. Let's talk a little bit about Dylan Hotchin there, obviously out of the race. Big shame for him, but great stuff for the team to see them as a privateer entry, to see the effort that they have put in every single week. They've not been at the front. They have been a team which has been towards the back of the championship at the back, but they've still come back every round, and they've still fought as hard as anyone battling for the championship.
They have, and I think those drivers they make the championship. They make those numbers happen. You know, that's what's going to turn the championship into a 30-car grid. More people like Dylan Hodgson wanting to go, I can compete in this, and I can compete in this for a relatively low cost. You know, okay, and we may not be, and we're going to go into this knowing that, you know, to take on the guys like, you know, Fortec, DBR, KMR, you know, Elite, it's going to be really hard to do because they are proper professional teams. But we can still come here and for a relatively cost-effective price, compete and enjoy ourselves and learn how to be quick, because these cars are perfect learning tools for a driver to then progress his career. And the safety car lights are already off.
Yeah, and I will also I'm going to correct one thing before we go back racing again. It's good news for you because I can't work my own spreadsheet, which I built, so that's fantastic. The points are not level between Burgoyne Jr. and Kulkarni. It's actually advantage Harry Burgoyne Jr. by 2 points.
The
5
stress.
minutes. 5 minutes
Oh
left to
my
go. With the lap times they've been setting, we should get ourselves 4 laps, depending on when we cross the line. Should definitely be 4 laps. But Sid Smith to try and defend for the lead. For Webster to try and take over it. Not yet. Obviously, Webster did leave it very, very late in the previous race. Sid Smith has got so much pressure on his she's to it, sitting right under the rear end. We go green once again at Donington Park. 5 minutes left on the clock. The note from Fox Motorsport is go, go, go. Come on, son. Sid Smith takes a defensive line as they come up towards Redgate. Cooper Webster sends it in. He's trying to get around the outside. And the number 37 Evans Grand Prix car that's looking, though, for the weekend. It's Cooper Webster sending it around the outside. Sid Smith with the inside line as they come down Hollywood and then into the Craner curves. And Cooper Webster is just about able to take over the race. They come down to the old hairpin, and Sid Smith sends it back in.
Brilliant racing. They're still side by side. This is amazing. Clifford's now getting involved as well. That was very ballsy from Sid Smith there to stick it up the inside into the old hairpin. That's such a quick corner. It's such a long.
Whoa! Oh, and he's made contact. The pair of them go into the gravel trap, and they're going to drop down the order, but they keep their foot in. Sid Smith getting aggressive there with Clifford, and Clifford didn't really have anywhere else he could go. It's such a shame for Clifford, who's actually been driving so well in this race.
Come on, Harry, go on the back of Eddie now. They're so close. This racing, this is what makes GB4 so exciting. It's reminiscent of like the Formula 4 days, and look how close they are coming up. There's no dirty air here. They can get so close in terms of racing. They're pushing each other over.
But you've got to watch out. Blakely's come back into the mix as well. Has the likes of Harrison trying to work his way back into the mix. Of course, you've got Theo Mercuris in there. Harry Burgoyne Jr. is yet to step onto a GB4 podium. This could be the day that he does so, but he's fighting off one of the most emotional drivers that we've seen. Lucas Blakely now straight to the outside, battling behind all this, because who's knocking at the door? Out of nowhere, of course, because of the safety car. McNeely's been brought back into the fight. He's going to clear himself on Mercuris, potentially on the race down towards the first corner. This race has a lot of life left in it, as we've got 3 laps left to run in 2023.
This is amazing. This is brilliant single-seater racing. I mean, as soon as you basically go high on this, you never see racing this kind of close. It's absolutely fantastic. And Harry's pulling back in again on that slipstream to Kulkarni, as nearly trying to go around the outside. He's not going to be able to pull that off. He has to tuck back in. That's good defensive driving from Theo.
Yeah, certainly so. Obviously, Mercuris just doing a great job to fend off McNeely, one of the fastest drivers in the championship. I still think the 8th consecutive podium's a little bit out of reach for the Fox Motorsport driver, but hey, you never know. We've got 2 more laps to go after this, so 2.5 from where we're presently running, and the battle for the podium is definitely on. Kulkarni, Burgoyne Jr. and Blakely all involved in that fight, all embroiled in it. And for Cooper Webster, for Colin Queen, they are starting to pull away. Cooper Webster, again, he is looking to sweep the weekend. The only times it's been done before was at Silverstone last year, and technically Silverstone this year, when we did have Tom Mills win race 1 and race 2. We never got race 3 in the second time we went to Silverstone. And of course, the time we went to Donington before, as there's a big lock up there for the number 18 of Finn Harrison. Tom Mills did win 3 races, but it was actually a 4-race weekend that one, so it doesn't count.
Yeah, exactly. So a bit strange, but it's just how it's worked out with the weather. You know that you can't have it, especially in the UK. This is a brave move from McNeely, and he's been given the space around the outside. We've seen that a lot in this race, actually, going around the outside of the last corner. Towing up behind is Blakely. Not going to be able to get it done there. I'm not sure. Do the points change now they're 3rd and 4th?
They certainly will do, and I'm going to try and run that one as quick as possible. But we'll see this fight. I mean, like at the moment, Burgoyne Jr., I think he's focusing, of course he is, he's kind of focusing the wrong way a little bit now. He's focusing on Blakely trying to attack him rather than trying to get back up towards Kulkarni. He doesn't seem to have the pace right now to get him.
Yeah, he's just fallen behind a little bit out of that toe, which Blakely's now getting. But if he can just hang on, only a couple laps to go now. It's so exciting, it's so close.
Right now, it would be a 1-point advantage to Aditya Kulkarni in the fight for 5th in the GB4 Championship of 2023. It's so close between them. Unfortunately, it seems like it slipped through Harry Burgoyne's fingers, but through no real fault of his own. It is not done yet, though. I cannot stress that enough. One mistake, one moment, one brave opportunity from Harry Burgoyne Jr., and there could be a chance of him sneaking onto the podium and maybe even grabbing himself 5th in the championship.
It's so close, and it's so hard because he's got this pressure from behind. It's not like he can just go, right, I can do whatever lines I want. He's got to be a bit mindful of Blakely behind, who's been getting really good exits, but Blakely's dropped back a little bit now. It looks like a bit late on the brakes. He's locked up, though. Blakely's locked up into the corner. Yeah. Still getting a good drive through it, though.
Like I say, right now, it doesn't matter about what Blakely's doing. All Harry Burgoyne Jr. needs to do is he needs to beat Kulkarni. There is 1 lap left to go in 2023. Of course, the GB3 Championship wrapped up. The GB4 Championship wrapped up. We are here for glory, ladies and gentlemen. And that battle for 5th in the championship. The time is ticking down to 0 for one last time. Cooper Webster is comfortably clear of Colin Queen, who's been setting fast laps to try and catch him. He's not made a mistake. He's doing his best drive of the season, is Colin Queen. But he's still going to come up a position short.
I mean, still half a lap to go, and 6 tenths is not a big gap. If he can close up another couple tenths, he can have a lunge into the final 2 corners. It is a bit too big, isn't it, that kind of gap?
Yeah.
But Harry's closing in on Kulkarni.
Yeah, exactly. Now that's where something could get brave. Of course, you don't have to think about repairing the car for the next race or whatever. It is now or never for these drivers. For Harry Burgoyne Jr., for Colin Queen looking for his first victory in the championship. Who knows how things are going to unfold? Of course, we've had 6 winners in the GB4 Championship, and I think it's going to remain at those 6 drivers. Cooper Webster having a few.
Going defensive. He shouldn't need to go defensive now, but that's allowed Harry to come back in. Oh, Blakely's stucking his nose in. He's touched Harry.
Yeah, it's close between them. That battle, though, is going to take it down to the final corner. Kulkarni's going to go defensive again. Cooper Webster's going to come through the final corner, and it is going to be the sweep here for Cooper Webster at the Donington decider. Webster on top once again. As we look back, Colin Queen will lead over his teammate Kulkarni. Harry Burgoyne Jr. will take 4th in the race, and unfortunately 6th in the championship. By a single point, Kulkarni will take 5th. A tight fight between them, but you've got to say, hats off to them. Hats off to this driver as well. Cooper Webster 2nd in the championship in his first attempt, and of course a sweep of the weekend, joining quite a short list who have done that.
Yeah, mega weekend from Cooper Webster there to be able to do what he's just done. What a race. What a finale for the race season. GB4 again putting on an absolutely fantastic show there.
They have indeed. They do frequently put on quite the show. Obviously, we had that quite a lot last season in that thrilling battle between yourself and Nicholas Taylor. Jared Waberski sprinkled in there at various points. Of course, Alex Walker in the early days of the season. Also, it's been a fantastic product. We've loved GB4. We'll love to see it move on into the future and what else it holds. Obviously, in the pre-show, you heard us talking about all the mega things that can be accomplished in the GB4 Championship. And for drivers like Tom Mills, certainly has been the title. For Cooper Webster, it's been 2nd, and yet another win. 5 wins on the season as Cooper Webster takes the final race, obviously in provisional results. Colin Queen in 2nd, but did set the fastest lap in doing so. Fortec getting 2 cars onto the podium as Kulkarni finished in 3rd. Sad moments for Harry Burgoyne Jr. to be 4th in the race, but of course still needs to hold his head up high over what has been a brilliant season from him. Lucas Blakely again into 5th place. Theo Mercuris, McNeely on a great recovery drive after the safety car. Harrison, Murray and Hickey rounding out the top 10. Before we get to those behind, Sid Smith will be pretty irritated by how that race has gone, but of course it was contact between himself and Clifford that took him down the road, and really it was probably more on Sid Smith's shoulders in that one. Thomas Lee finishing 12th position. Sad for Clifford to be down in 13th. He's driven so well in this race today. Obviously had a few mistakes over the weekend, but still bounced back to end in glory. Belk, and then of course Ping and Hotchin being retirements from the race after that incident between the pair of them, coming down into the Melbourne hairpin. Brilliant efforts from those, but a lot of positivity to be shared around the paddock, I get the feeling.
Yeah, I believe so. I think there'll be many happy faces after that last race there. Some people will obviously be disappointed, but they still got to hold their head up high with the season they've done, the learning they've done, and if they come back to do this again next year, you know that you have that potential to basically go and do what Tom Mills did and really fight for the title in your 2nd year.
Do you think many will return for next year, or is it literally just eyes straight up? Surely some of those, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, like that kind of level in the championship, they'll be thinking about, okay, maybe I will come back, maybe I will do a Thomas, maybe I will try and win the championship?
I can't speak for them. I don't know. I don't know what.
I'm putting you under pressure though.
Well, I don't know. I haven't spoken to like the Fortec drivers, for example. So I don't know what their plans would be. I don't know what the Evans, what a lot of these drivers' teams and what the plans are for their future careers. But I definitely recommend anyone who basically wasn't in the top 3 of the championship this year to come back and give it another go. Because you've done that year of learning now, and now you're ready to properly fight for it. Plus, you'll have a new wave of new drivers coming into the championship from the junior championships, from karting, from Cooper came over from, was it F3000 over in Australia? So
it's got a funny name. It's like 16. Oh yeah, it's got
something
whatever it is. Sorry, he's done an amazing job in that.
Yeah.
So shout out.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But as I'm saying, like you can come from all different fields. I came from doing British F3, which now GB3 into GB4.
Yeah.
So it's not just for young karters. It's not just for newcomers. It's for everyone.
Yeah.
It's for privateers like Hodgson and Lexi Belk. And we'll have hopefully more teams like that also entering the championship. Yeah,
exactly. And when you're trying to get your eyes sorted on a potential career, even up to Formula One, but you're kind of doing it on a tight budget. Starting in championship like this, it is an important place to be. It's an important stepping stone to get yourself ready. Like say, if you're moving from karting, moving from karting into something like a GB3 car is an unbelievable step. Maybe it's a step too far for quite a lot of drivers. Having something like this is a brilliant stepping stone to be like, right, this is pretty quick, but we're not going to throw you right in the deep end, because those GB3 cars are insanely fast.
Yeah, they really are. It's a big step up from these cars again.
Yeah. Well, we'll head down to John Jackson, and he'll be catching up with the podium, because we desperately want to hear for the last one of the season.
Yeah, thanks, Lewis. Cooper, we discussed the possibility of you becoming the 3rd driver in the championship, the 2nd one this year, to win all 3 races. And I mean, what a great drive.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with that one. Came through pretty well. I think I could have come through a little bit quicker, but the safety car and the yellow flag down that corner slowed it up a little bit. But but then that meant for a good battle with Sid all the way through half the lap, side by side. So that was really good. It was a shame that they came together right behind me, because he deserved to finish on the podium, I thought. But I'm really happy with that, and to clean sweep the weekend, it couldn't have gone better.
Yeah, very mature too, obviously, when you couldn't overtake on those double yellows, to wait and pick your moment and everything. I have to say, look, thank you very much for coming over here and impressing us, and managing to do 2 series in 2 different continents and 2 different hemispheres. It's been really, really impressive, and you've signed off from GB4 in an incredible way. And I always let you do it, but you can chat to people back home now if you want, because it must be, what, 3 a.m., 4 a.m.?
Yeah, I think it's 3 a.m., but my sister said she would stay up and watch. So hopefully she's watching, and so is Mum. But I told him to go to sleep, just get some sleep. But they're too excited, so yeah.
They can rewatch the race later on. But look, Cooper, we've really enjoyed watching you race, and whatever you do next, we'll be keenly following your career.
Yeah, thank you.
Cooper Webster there, your race winner with Evans GP. A great drive from him. We're going to come over here now. Colin Queen is chatting to your fella that chats around the racetrack. So we'll speak to Adi Kulkarni. Adi, we're going to come to you now. Just Colin's a little bit busy, but a great way to end your season.
Yeah, thank you very much for Fortec for helping me throughout the season, develop as a driver. Calvin for being my engineer throughout the year, and Nick Taylor for being my driver coach.
Yeah, you really have had one of the best people to coach you, the guy that won this championship last year, and he must have been a huge help in your development in whatever you choose to do next, whether you stay with GB4 or move on.
Yeah, there's no better person to learn from than who has actually done it and won it. So without Nick, it wouldn't be possible. So I'd like to special shout out for him.
Well, great stuff. Look, it's been great chatting to you this year. We're going to let you go and get your trophy, Adi. Thank you very much. Adi Kulkarni, who came 3rd, and Nicholas Taylor, the man we were just talking about right here with Colin Queen. We'll let Colin say nice things about you. Colin, great way to end the season. Another podium for you.
Yeah, well, I will say great things about Nick. Now he's a great coach and all. No, it was a great end to the season. We would have wanted the win. I know that I was catching Cooper, but I think it was enough for me. I drove my heart out that race. So.
Look, we got to let you go and get your trophy. It's getting a little bit dark here at Donington, but best of luck with your GB3 test you told us about a little bit earlier on this coming week. Do you want to say anything very quickly to everyone back home in the States?
Yes, no. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Hi, Brooke. No, it's been a great season so far. I can't thank Fortec enough for all their hard work. and dedication. You know, they've really supported me all season. They've helped me develop as a driver, and I know that I'm ready for the next step. So
excellent stuff. Well, we look forward to seeing what you can do, Colin. It's been great chatting to you. Go and get your trophy. Colin Queen there with Fortec. Great to see two Fortec drivers on the podium, and obviously Nick Taylor's training them both. Richard Randall, the man behind the scenes, is giving me the wrap-up now, so we've got to watch them get their trophies on the podium. Over to you, Lewis.
Cheers, Jonas. And yeah, for Colin Queen there, a bit of a return to form this weekend. Struggled a little bit at Brands Hatch. Struggled a little bit, to be fair. We went racing for the second time at Silverstone, but finds himself back onto the podium after working his way up the order. And genuinely, I think that was his best drive in GB4 rather. I'll get my words out. It was his 10th podium of the season for Colin Queen, and yeah, very, very impressive performance. For Cooper Webster, though, he'll be taking the top honours. Well, he's done every race this championship, and the only times he's finished off the podium, well, it's been 5 races throughout the season, which is a pretty impressive record, an imperious one as well. Kulkarni comes back up onto the podium for the 4th time this season. There is Colin Queen for the 10th time, and on to the podium yet another time for his 3rd consecutive victory. Of course, you could technically count Tom Mills as being a driver who's won all the races on the weekend, with that Silverstone one where he won just the 2 races, but then the 3rd one was cancelled. And of course, we did see it being done from Nicholas Taylor on his way to the championship last year. So it is an impressive feat, and very well done indeed to Cooper Webster as the trophies get handed out. Kulkarni gets his one, then Queen, and then of course our race winner being Cooper Webster. Also shout out to Colin Queen, by the way, for setting the fastest lap in that race as he was trying to charge down Cooper Webster. He's made a few mistakes around this circuit, but certainly didn't in that race. It was very impressive, and the Sunoco fastest lap of the weekend award goes to Colin Queen, courtesy of that. So it shows how impressive that lap was, how impressive he's been through the weekend, and just shows the absolute standout drive that he's put on. The 2 Fortec drivers go either side of the Evans Grand Prix driver, who takes victory for the 5th time in 2023. We'll step aside though for the highlights from the final race of the season. Highlights then from the last one in GB4 as Lucas Blake got a great start down the inside. Sid Smith with a decent translation on that race start. It was Jack Clifford getting to the outside. Of course, Blakely getting squeezed off just a touch. And it was Harry Burgoyne Jr. hanging on to 3rd. Adichie Kulkarni goes straight around the outside to hold on to 4th position as he was trying to take 5th in the title race. And it was all nice and single file and tidy on the race down to the old hairpin for the first time. Bits and bobs of weaving as everyone was trying to take a defensive line through this extremely fast corner, and it was a decent lead being held. But as we're down into the hairpin, it was McNeely out wide. Once he'd rejoined the circuit, it was contact with one of the Elite Motorsports cars. Up on the 2 wheels he would go, and for a big spin. But with the cars being as strong and as safe as they are, he was able to continue in the race and was brought back into it. Let's see if a safety car from a little bit later on, Lexi Belk, was into the gravel trap, though. That was what we thought would cause it. This was in turn what caused it. Zach Ping into the rear end of Dylan Hodgkin, sent down into the gravel trap, and of course that car going no further, and a furious Dylan Hodgkin got out to not restart the race. Once we did get back underway though, it was Sid Smith under an awful lot of pressure, being pushed on by the Fox Motorsports team. This was an unbelievable bit of racing between 2 great drivers, Cooper Webster and Sid Smith going toe to toe. Webster straight around the outside into the old hairpin, but then Sid Smith pushing everything that he could. Jack Clifford was getting involved in the mix. Contact between Clifford and Sid Smith would send them both into the gravel trap, and unfortunately dropping them both right the way down the order. Cooper Webster would come through the final corner as victor in the final race of the season, ahead of Colin Queen and Adichie Kulkarni, to enormous applause from the Evans Grand Prix team. His 3rd win of the weekend, 5th of the season. Tight races behind as well. As we look at the, of course, the final time, we'll take a look at the standings. Provisional, of course. We know the top lot's not changing. Cooper Webster closed that one up as much as he could, obviously, scoring as many points as he possibly could this weekend. But still, that's why Tom Mills was the champion back in Brands Hatch. When you have a perfect weekend like that and you're still 11 points short, it shows exactly how the season's gone for Tom Mills. Liam McNeely in 3rd, Colin Queen in 4th. That hasn't changed. But it's Adichie Kulkarni with 1 point over Harry Burgoyne Jr., showing an impressive form for the Fortec Motorsports driver. driver. Behind that, you've got Jack Clifford, who'll be a little bit disappointed with that, making contact with a driver he was battling for in the championship. Sid Smith was looking for his podium and unfortunately wasn't battling in that one. Jeremy Fairbairn and Ruhan Alva, of course, towards the back of the top 10, as we would expect. Though we will head down into the paddock area for the final time in 2023 and see what Jonas is up to.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Lewis. I have to say, just a big shout out to Lewis, Piers Pryor, who's normally here on co-commentary, and Max Maserati, who stepped in beautifully this season. It's been a great season, Jack. You know, we've enjoyed chatting to you. It's not been your weekend, though, has it?
No, I've really had the weekend from hell. I will one day look back and laugh. It might not be today, but the weekend was horrible. I mean, Thursday and Friday were okay, and then Saturday qualifying was average, sort of midfield in the top 10, 6th, and then I was going to start 4th for the reverse grid. The penalties in front meant I start 2nd, which was grouse. Start was very even, Stephen, with Sid, and then the first half of the race was going well, and then I saw, I think a lap before the safety car, Cooper was coming through pretty quick. He had a pretty good dive bomb down the inside, and then I was able to sort of, once he caught Sid and they started battling, I could catch back up to him and had a bit of opportunity. Then the short safety car was out and then ready to pounce on the green restart. And then coming up into, I think it's McLean's, was following Cooper to go around the outside of Sid because we were like just in front of him, and then got one in the side pod, finishing in the gravel. And it was the same story in race 2. So I've had a difficult weekend, to say the least.
But this has been, you know, your first year racing here in GB4, and you must have learnt a lot as well, because a lot of these guys have been on a real journey.
Yeah, that's it. It's been a baptism of fire. I moved here, you know, new country on my own, with just a bit of Formula 40 experience in Australia, in Victoria, and then straight into wings and slicks in a country that's got some of the best tracks in the world that I had to learn. And then it was 5 pre-season test days, and then straight into the first race. And then, yeah, I didn't finish the year how I wanted to. It's at the start of the weekend we were looking like we would be able to secure top 5 in the championship, but after the race 1 and 2 and 3's eventualities, that didn't happen.
But look, KMR Sport won the team's championship, so you've played a part in that. You've got points. You know, you've very much done some good things. Now, we met your dad, I think it was here, wasn't it, at Donington? I think he came over and we chatted to him. I've given everyone else, I've given Cooper, I've given Colin the opportunity to speak to people back home. It's the middle of the night in Australia. You know, a lot of people have been getting up at silly times to watch you, and I'm sure you're very grateful, and I'll let you say thanks to them.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of friends and family that have woken up for this last race, especially starting on the front row. And this year to my sponsors that are watching, Oz Four Wheel Drive and Spy Boats Australia, what they've done for me this year to make sure I'm out on track for the year has been great, and make sure that I'm learning as much as I can. So thank you to Webby and Sandy, and I know Greg's watching, James is watching, Harry's watching from home, and I can't wait to see you all when I get home very, very soon.
Yeah, you'll be heading back soon. It's going to be a great reunion there. You can decompress, you can see what you're going to do next. And obviously, you know, these sponsors keep you racing, and I know you're really grateful, and hopefully they'll continue to sponsor you, and other people will be inspired by, you know, the fun we've had this year, the fact that you've moved across the world to do this, and we're all very inspired by, you know, you settling into the tiny little place that I know very well, because I went to primary school there in the middle of nowhere. There's really not much going on there. It's kind of like our outback, and you've managed to do so well, make so many friends. I think it's a real credit to the guy you are, and you know, the job you've been doing out there. So hopefully we'll see you soon, all right?
Thank you very much, John, and to the whole MSV crew, thank you for this year, and hope to see you next year in something.
Yeah, let's hope so. Jack Clifford, you can stay here as I sign off now. I mean, it's been a great year of racing. Obviously, shout out to Tom Mills for such an amazing job he did there. 10 race wins to become the champion. KMR Sport as well, winning the team's championship as well. It's been fantastic. GB4 is only 2 years old, and we'll be back next year for an exciting 3rd year. More cars on the grid, more teams coming into the championship, and more excellent racing. Thank you very much for watching.